Hi everyone, my name is Jullie Bundesen, and I titled my TED Talk, The Reason I Care. So up here, this is Brian. He's 15 years old, and he enjoys riding horses and running track. And the picture of him in the middle is of him when he graduated 8th grade, and he's now currently a freshman at Windsor High School. And the picture of him in the corner is just a picture of when he was little that I thought would be good to add. So Brian is my brother, and he has Down syndrome. So I interviewed Brian for you guys to get to know him a little more and to see like how he is in his like everyday environment, just himself. So here's the interview.
Hi, my name is Bundesen.
Hi, Brian. I'm going to ask you a few questions, okay? What is your favorite sport?
Basketball.
Who's your favorite basketball player?
Steph Curry.
Steph Curry?
Yes.
Wow. What is your favorite memory?
My favorite memory was game.
Your first Warriors game?
Yes.
Was it pretty cool?
Yes.
Wow. That's pretty awesome, Brian. Thank you.
Bye.
Brian has shaped me to be the person that I am today. He's taught me more than I think that I've taught him, and some of the most important things he's taught me is compassion, acceptance, and respect. And I think the most important is respect, because everyone deserves to be respected in the same way, no matter how they look, no matter how they talk or act. Everyone deserves respect, and I think those three qualities are really important to have in life, and everyone should acquire them because it'll help you live your life in a more positive and better way. He wakes up every morning with a smile on his face, ready to go to school, ready to get on the bus and start his day. And I know, like, for me, it's not always easy to get up and want to go to school and have like a good day, like you just want to sleep in and stay at home sometimes. But not for Brian, and that's something simple that I look up to him for. He helps me not get upset over little things that I have no control of and that I can't change, because when you have no control over something, there's no point in dwelling on it and getting upset about it. You just have to move on and try and make it the best situation that it can be. He encourages me to be the best person and the best version of myself that I can be, because I know that he looks up to me, and I'm his role model, and I need to always set a good example, whether that be with friends, school, sports, because he comes to all my sporting events and encourages me, so he really helps me be a better person. And I think the most valuable thing that Brian's taught me is to be yourself, because if you're not yourself and you put on a fake act and you do things or say things so you like want people to like you, then they're not going to like you for who you really are. And Brian, like anyone that knows Brian, like loves him. He's just always happy. He loves everyone. He's caring, and he inspires me to just be myself, because like you don't want to be anyone else but yourself, and that's a big thing that he's taught me. So to get a different point of view, I decided that I would ask my mom the question of how did having a child with Down syndrome change your life or affect your life? And she said, having a child with Down syndrome changed my life. When I had Brian, I was in a state of shock. I never thought I would end up having a child with a disability. It was something so unexpected. Now, though, having Brian has made me a stronger and more caring person. He has taught me how to love and accept people unconditionally, no matter their differences. He is one of the best blessings I could have received. So her response makes it clear that the most unexpected things could turn out to also be the biggest blessings. Everything happens for a reason, and my mom was a lucky chosen one to have a child who has a disability, because it's made her a stronger person. And I'm lucky, and so is my family, to be blessed with Brian, because he's taught us so much, every single one of us. So a flip side to Brian's situation, even though Brian's loving and happy, There are times I feel that he has disadvantages and lack of opportunity because he does have a disability. And I think the biggest would be inclusiveness in every aspect of society. And a simple example would be when we were younger and we'd go out and play with like the neighborhood kids, they wouldn't let him like be included because he looked different, he acted different, and he wasn't as like coordinated and didn't know how to play the game as well, so they'd exclude him. And kids may not know how to react when they see someone who has a disability, and they may not know what that disability is. So it's just like not knowing, so then they are more standoffish to someone who's not like them, so they don't know how to include them. And Brian, he like keeps trying to include himself, but then he finally gets it that like they don't want to play with him, and he like gets this look on his face that's like, okay, and then he just moves on with it. And I know like a lot of us, if that would happen to us, we'd be pretty like upset, but not for Brian. He just goes on with his day, and that's always like, it's not easy to do that. Another thing would be like friends. After school, it's not normal for him to like text my mom and be like, hey mom, can I go here after school with like some of my friends? Or can I have a sleepover here with like my buddies? Like, it doesn't work like that for Brian. And it's because like us as like normal teenagers, that's like something that's normal. We go to sleepovers, we hang out with our friends, but that's not how it works with Brian. Just because when he goes over to a friend's house, it's a play date, and the parents have to be there, and they're responsible for Brian and their own kid. So that's just like something that I think is like a disadvantage, just because like he doesn't see it that way, but I see it that way since I do get to do all those things and he doesn't. Another thing would be like with sports. He wanted to be on the basketball team at Windsor High School, but he's not put on the roster. He's just there to practice, and he's happy with that, and if he's happy, then I'm happy with that. But that's a disadvantage just because he doesn't have the same motor skills, the same capability that other kids have to play. So that's like a disadvantage in my eyes, but not Brian's, which is a good thing. But another thing is like future things would be driving in college. Like we all look forward to driving. Like our parents don't have to drive us around anymore. Like, yeah, I can finally have my license and go like do whatever. And Brian, that's like probably not realistic for him to be driving around. And like college, like our parents are like, okay, you go to high school, then you're gonna go off to college, and that's just something that we've been taught our whole lives. But with Brian, my mom had to adjust and know that he's going to high school, and after high school he's gonna get a job and probably have to live with my mom and then me and my siblings for the rest of his life, which is something that I think is like a lack of like opportunity because of his disability. He doesn't get to experience those things. So Brian was my inspiration for my CBSL. I wanted to bring my skills and personal experiences to the North Bay Down Syndrome Association. So I'm putting on a dance show with my partners in the spring on April 8th, and we practice 2 times a month, and it's for like any kids with Down syndrome to be included in. And I'm also going to attend events, and I have attended events put on by that association to bring Brian and his classmates so they can branch out and meet different kids. So some statistics are, there are approximately 400,000 people living with Down syndrome in the US. Down syndrome affects people of all races and economic levels. And Down syndrome occurs when an individual is born with an additional chromosome 21 copy. This alters the course of development and causes the characteristics associated with Down syndrome. So my conclusion is that Brian has inspired me to be a full advocate for people who have Down syndrome. And I hope by the end of my CBSL project, I have encouraged people to support and just find beauty in others no matter their differences, because everyone wants to feel respected and loved in the same way, and I think that's a really important part of life. Thank you.